don't really care about how much money I spend on trading. Lookouts! Yeah, okay, that's nothing to see here. What's up, guys? I'm playing Tropico 5. I played the fourth game. It was fantastic. This one should be fantastic too, right? Well, we'll see. I've already played it a little bit, and I'll talk through as I go on. I'm going to go ahead and do sandbox mode because talking and recording is really hard to do, and the hell with playing the actual game. So in this one, you would choose a dynasty, which will be pretty much your family, and just kind of like how kingdoms work in Old England, right? You get family members who get passed down to the throne and all that stuff. So yeah, something like that. You get to create each character as the dynasty expands. I've only really made it up to the son, so I don't know if it expands any more than that. On its face, this game, when I watched the trailer, it looked like the fourth one. Like, it doesn't seem like there's too much to it that's different. But at the same time, now that I played it a little bit, I kind of like it better. There's not too much different about it, but at the same time, what is different makes me feel like it's worth it. Why African? Come on now. Latino. Okay. What was Ortiz? What's good for Ortiz? Xavier, Alonso, Aguador, Abel, Adolf, that's not Mexican. Agustin, Alberto, Aldo, Alfonso, for something I can pronounce. Something I can pronounce, please. Benjamin, Berto, Burrito, Carlitos, Carlos, Camilo, come on. Caesar Ortiz. That sounds fine to me. Face 1, 2. There's only 3 faces. They're all hideous. We'll go with the most hideous. There we go. There we go. Greaser, no. Casual, sure. Black, red. Yep, red, because we're going communist. Hair. Let's go for the gay fro. Not red. He's Mexican, so it's going to be black. I mean, not racist. I'm not racist in any way. Hat, none. Accessory. We'll give him tobacco pipe. Yeah. Alright, so because we're doing this on Sandbox, we get to change all these things, which is pretty nice. You could choose all the different maps, which it says there's 2 pages, but in reality, it's like more like 1.5. We'll go generated, huge, flat, make it really easy. Unlimited money, Yeah, we'll make it really easy here. But no, the changes they made to the difference between Tropico 4 and 5 are pretty subtle. The buildings all seem to work in the same sort of way. Can't hearing seagulls. The game seems to play in the same sort of way. If you play Tropico 4 and 3, you're not going to be a stranger to this. You're not going to need... You're not going to need to do any sort of tutorials or anything, because you'll know exactly what to do. It's pretty much the same sort of thing. Where you get these things, these guys talk to you, they tell you all the different choices you can make to make your island better, make it either communistic, capitalistic, work on alliances, things like that. But they did implement a little bit more into the eras, as right now we're in a classical era, which says 5 year. Pretty much what that means is it's before the First World War, so technologies are really low, things like that. You can go all the way up to the future era, which is, well, the future. You can see all the buildings, actually. See, the cigar and rum distilleries will be within the first eras, classical and the World War eras, and they kind of get more and more advanced as time goes on, so it's actually kind of interesting how that works. You don't really have to do any crazy achievements or anything to unlock buildings. You just gotta shacks. You just gotta play through the game. You don't have to worry about doing breeding a certain number of pigs to get a super pig farm or something. You just kind of go, okay, well, it'll unlock when technology gets better. That's it. So, not bad. What else is there to? It's like I said, you're looking at this, and it probably looks just like Tropico 4 and 3. And I guess there's nothing really wrong with that, because they're all really good games. The layouts are a bit easier to work with, really. It kind of looks confusing, but honestly, I'm having a bit easier time putting things together in this game, just because of the user interface. So, whoops, didn't want that there. Didn't want it there. Didn't want it. Cancel. Thank you. Yeah, so the user interface is definitely improved. I'm enjoying it a lot better with that, like the way it is. This one, the churches and religion and the buildings you plop down seem to have more of an effect on the people who live nearby them. As before, rebellion and attacks were a thing. It always kind of seemed a little bit random to me. But now this time, if enough people are religious, there will be less rebels in the area. So you got to kind of have enough religious buildings hanging around just so your people won't go nuts and start shooting up the place. And your army's a little bit more directly connected to you, as if you wanted to protect a certain area that you know might rebel, you can just plop down one of these. And now you have a defense structure when rebels come out of their houses and start shooting up the place. And the same goes with later on in history, where you can get a military fort, barracks, army bases, nuclear space. Not too sure what tropical island would do with the space program. But you're a little bit more under control with the military aspects of the game. And it's actually really interesting, because when you get into the war eras, sometimes your opposing team, whichever one you choose to be against, ally or axis, at one point they do actually jump onto your island and try to invade, and you've got to make sure you got a military to get rid of that and keep them out. So it sounds like it should be a little bit more complicated that way, but it's not. Because you're not actually controlling the military, you're just controlling how much you have in your city. So that's good. Right now I'm plopping down a library, not just because the objective told me to, but more just because it's going to make the people smarter and they're going to do something more with their lives than farming pigs. So I like education. Every city building I game, whether it's SimCity or this game, or that's about it, but I always focus on education. Even though I'm not a very smart man myself, I do focus on education because it just makes the city so awesome, because it gets real futuristic and things like that. It's good stuff. Again, if you played older games, you realize that again, things have not changed. For example, the farming, pretty much the same sort of thing. The overlays look a little bit more annoying than usual, but, whatever. The trading seems to be a little bit easier to manage, because it seems like no matter how little or too many or little or more farms I have, the trade dock will always just give me food. Like, it won't question whether I should do it or not. It will say, if your city is going to die, we will put more food in your city, whether you like it or not. So I'm not even too sure if that was something that Tropico 4 did or not, because I play sandbox mode a lot, but I do like the idea that I do not have to directly trade, but if I want to, like, say if it's giving me all the corn I need to survive, but say if I wanted more corn for feeding the pigs or something, there's a pig factory, it's higher production than just the ranch, I can import more, and that will work, and it will give me more so I can do that industry. So trading works well on its base, and if you want to do anything more with your city, do any production or anything like that, you just gotta add some more, and that's all there is to it. A little bit more micromanaging to it. Sometimes you have to add a few more docks to get more ships, but other than that, I think that's a good thing. I like the micromanaging in this game. Research tree, alright. I don't remember if there is a research tree in the fourth game. I probably should have played it before I started recording this one. But there is a research tree, and as time goes on, like I said, it gets further and further into the future. You get better and better research. Not quite certain on how you get points. I think they just come to you as you play the game, but you get points, do all these silly things, and I don't see really the point of the research tree because you just kind of, like, you're going to go all the way through either way. Like, you're not going to just do the top layer because just there's always going to be something you're not going to want, so it's always going to seem to stay equal, I think, but whatever. Nothing to really complain about. The roads seem to work a lot better in this one. In the old one, they always like to be curvy. They never seem to want to go straight. However, even if you build them not straight, like if you wanted to make a square, square, and you made one line a little bit longer than the other line, it'll just kind of fix it. Like, it'll straighten it out so you get that perfect square and make more of a grid, and not quite so wavy like that. It'll always try to make a grid before a curve in this game, which is the exact opposite of what it did in the last game. It would always try to make some curvy mess, and it's not really good for city planning. I gotta get rid of this. There's another thing I got to point out as well. For the first half of the game, you can't really use your whole island. You have to set out explorers, which is your army, so sometimes that can really fuck you over. You'll be like, oh, army, go explore that area because I see some... what's over here? Nothing. But say, explore this area because I see some iron deposits or coal deposits over here, so go over there. And while your small army is out there, because it's the beginning of the game, you only have maybe 1 or 2 armies. While your army is out there, of course, the rebels decide to revolt and tear up the city, and by the time they get back, there's just no city left, so that's fantastic. And then by the time you do have a big enough army to really go exploring, the game just goes, oh, you don't need to explore anymore because you just now know what the map looks like, so that's just a big waste of time. I could have sworn in the other game you could really get close to these people and interact with them a little bit more than you can with this. Like, I mean, it's all the same stats and everything, but you can get real close, get their facial expressions, and be like, oh, I don't like you, and then just boom, kill. Which, I don't think anybody's going to kill her because my explorers are out there. No, there's no army over here. She'll get killed eventually. I don't care. Speaking of that, the president is having a little walk by the docks. Staying busy as ever, as I see. Let's go check out a further progressed part of the game. So you can kind of see. I haven't gone all the way through. Where am I at? 50. I haven't gone all the way through it. I think I'm in the Cold War era. And it's already... I'm in the Cold War era, and it feels like the end of the Tropical 4 timeline. But there's like 2 more eras ahead of me, so it's alright. Like, there's a lot more to this game, obviously. So what we got here is a city that's kind of a little bit of everything. I am huge on trading because, again, this is a sandbox mode, and I don't really care about how much money I spend on trading. Look out! Yeah, okay, that's nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Anyway, I do a lot of just random trading. That's the only real big thing with this city. Other than that, it's all really well-rounded. Earlier, you saw those country houses that I was building that just look like absolute shit, and once you get to a certain era, you can just upgrade all of those country houses to be, you know, normal-looking houses of that era. Also, earlier I talked about how religious turns into a big thing, and that's what all these blue arrows are. The religious figures in the area keeps rebels from happening. But all the buildings are eventually upgradable through time. Like, this used to be a shitty-looking tenement building, but once I got into the era, it starts looking like something you would see on a normal country. I shouldn't say normal country, should I? A first world country. Yeah, one of those. Some things that I don't like as the game has progressed is that these keep popping up constantly about little things that I shouldn't really be caring about anymore, but the game keeps thinking I should care. But I don't. Like, it keeps telling me about my exports. Like, I know I'm making a ton of money. You don't have to tell me every time a boat shows up, because I have like 10 boats that show up at a time. Also, it doesn't really take into effect that more people are going to be rebellious. So, the rebel attacks happen more and more often, which makes sense, because there's more people. More people equals more rebels. But, again, every attack will pop up in a window, and my whole armies, which are kind of spread through, they'll all go towards one attack, even though, like, one group has got it. All the armies, like the guys way over here, this barracks guys, if a rebel attack happens, say, over here by the hotels, they will get out, walk maybe down the block, and then realize that it's over and walk back. Completely useless. Thank you for the shipment goods, whatever. Thank you, shut up. See, here we go. These things keep popping up. When things shouldn't matter anymore, the game kind of makes it matter still, so it's obnoxious. What else? Like I said, the game hasn't really changed as far as the buildings go. Oops, rebel. All the buildings seem to be kind of the same sort of thing as you would expect from another game. You got your houses, you got your military, you got your industries that make you the money, you got your luxuries that make you even more money, entertainment. What is this? Luxury, entertainment, tourism, education. It's all the same sort of buildings you would see in the previous games. They just look different. They're just, there's a different skin on them. Whoops. Okay, see, this one is a rebel boss. He's the one who provokes things that happen, bad things that happen in the city, so go ahead and kill him. See if we can get a shot of him getting killed. Her. Him. Her. Who cares? But all in all, it's a really good game. It flows a lot better than the fourth one, I think. Oh, disappeared. In saying that, though, it is still kind of obnoxious with this sort of thing happening. But in the fourth one, when your city gets a bit big, I think it was because I was playing it on a 360, but the game would just start lagging and crashing and not doing good anymore. And it's like, why would you, let the game let you build that big if your system can't handle it? And, I mean, that's not an excuse for the computer, because everybody has a different system, but for the Xbox, it shouldn't be happening like that. Shut up! Presidente, we discovered flight. Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, right. In Tropico 4, when your city gets huge, like probably a little bit bigger than this size, about 1,000 people, I think, you kind of stop caring. Like, you run out of things to build. Like, there'll be one building for each section, and it kind of starts turning into a relay, It's like, okay, I built 2 apartments, so now I have to build 1 guard tower, 1 parking structure, and 1 electrical building. And it kind of just keeps rolling like that. Like, you get into a groove where you know what you need to build, and then you don't really build anything else. As this one, with the tech tree and the higher amounts of technologies that the game provides to you, it doesn't turn into that. You're trying to get that groove to keep up with your technologies that you're trying to build. So you never really get into the groove, because the game kind of keeps telling you, hey, look at this cool new thing. You gotta try this out. And you never really keep up with your buildings, and you always just kind of have to find a way to plan them into it. Like this, it showed me, look, you can do now a farm factory instead of a ranch. I'm like, well, that's awesome, and I planted a bunch and didn't realize that I needed some houses, so now I got this ugly house line, which is funner than, just going, okay, well, I got more people, so I better plunk down 3 houses and put down this clinic, and it's done. Let's move to the next section, 3 houses, and no, it doesn't work like that in this game because of the technology trees that are been implemented the way they have been. So, all in all, if you played 3 and 4, maybe you're not going to want to play this because it looks the same, but I'm telling you, it is different. It's a different experience, and it's a lot of fun. And if you haven't played any of these games, you gotta definitely try it out on this one. Like, if you want to check out some city builders, don't start with SimCity. SimCity is a great game, but it's a little bit more complicated. Well, the old ones are anyway. The new one, not so much. But this is definitely a good starter if you want to play a tycoon or city builder type of game. This is a good place to start. It makes it really easy for you with the sandbox mode, and then when you're ready, you can go to campaign, which really isn't that bad either. So, you guys, I've been Gnarly Charlie. I'll see you guys later. Go buy this game or something.